we're going to look at an episode right now that deals with side A and side B Christianity specifically. And I'll get into what that is in just a moment, but I want to let you know that one of the guys that is kind of on the side A Christian side is a guy named Brandon Roberts. Now, you'll remember me in the past talking about Brandon Roberts, but Brandon Roberts is a pastor in California of a supposedly Christian church, but he is a homosexual and a homosexual affirming pastor. And you can hear him saying all sorts of very interesting things like this.
Being queer is holy, our love is holy too. Christians who say otherwise don't know the Bible. Woo!
Homosexuality is not a sin. Being LGBT is not a sin. You start seeing Jesus tear down patriarchy. Jesus himself would have been considered feminine, and I know that's going to come as a shock to so many people.
And so now you don't have any fear of going to hell?
I don't believe in hell anymore.
Oh, you don't believe in hell?
No.
Do you believe in heaven?
Ish.
For those who are in an open or polyamorous relationship here this morning, who might be squirming a little bit because this is an uncomfortable question to hear in church sometimes, I want you to hear me loud and clear as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Your relationships are holy. They're beautiful, and they are welcomed and celebrated in this space.
Her boldness and bravery to speak truth to power actually changes Jesus' mind. Jesus repents of his racism and extends healing to this woman's daughter. I love this story because it's a reminder that Jesus is human. He had prejudices and bias, and when confronted with it, he was willing to do his work.
So based upon these comments and so many more that you'll even see today that we get into, Brandon Roberts essentially cosplays Christianity. So he puts on the collar, as it were, he grabs a hold of a Bible, and then proceeds to totally distort and pervert Christianity for what it actually is. Now, I think that there's so many things that could be said about that, but specifically when it comes to this issue, we'll see why it's such a big problem. So let's talk about the issue before we jump into me responding to this podcast and what's talked about here. So what we have is a side A Christian and a side B Christian. Side A, again, is Brandon Roberts, and side A Christianity is the welcoming, affirming, and celebrating side of Christianity, quote unquote Christianity, if you're listening and you can't see my little bunny ears. So it's the side of Christianity that believes that you can be a practicing homosexual and be in keeping with biblical scripture. Side B Christianity, on the other hand, is the acknowledgement and the existence of Christians who are gay and have same-sex attraction, but rather choose not to participate in that because they see it as a sin. So really the difference maker between these two, and this is a little crude, but the difference maker between side A and side B is that side A believes that homosexuality is not a sin, side B believes that it is a sin, okay? And so these two gentlemen talk with each other. So I want you guys to hear some of their responses, and then I'm gonna give a more broad response after I comment on some of these things that I think are really, really important to stop and think about. So again, we'll stop, make little stops along the way, and then at the end, we'll make a more kind of general broad stop about the whole conversation as a whole, and then make, I think, an important offering about this conversation. So let's jump into our very first clip with Brandon Robertson and our other friend here as they're discussing side A and side B Christianity.
And I think David's journey is David's journey, and it's authentic and it's true. And I wouldn't dispute anything that he said. I think I'd probably interpret some of his experiences differently. And yeah, I don't think it's anybody's place, however, to question another person's journey in general, but especially another person's relationship to Christ.
Now, this is what I hear very often, that it is judgmental or that it is not our place to look at another person's journey and to comment on that journey. In order to be moral, you have to make judgments. That doesn't mean that you have to say, you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. It just means that you can say, according to Scripture, that's a sinful practice. And that's a practice that is not going to be the most meaningful and most pleasurable way in which to channel your desires. eschew, get away from the accusation of judgmentalism wherever it comes, and do the best that you can to not fall for the extortion of those who wish to say you're being judgmental. I had this happen the other day, by the way, when I had said something about Buzz Lightyear, which I didn't even make mention of the gay kiss in the movie. I just said that parents have the right to make a decision about this, and it's good that parents are making a decision to make sure that this movie tanks and doesn't get the money that it's spent in making the film. And somebody said, "This is disgusting, you people who are supposedly righteous and Christians, and you're judging other people." And I was just like, dude, do you understand that the comment that you just posted calling a bunch of people disgusting that you've never met in your life actually sounds more judgmental than anything else that was in that post? But even if it was judgmental, you're being judgmental too. So, I mean, come on. So the point is don't fall for the extortion of judgmentalism. Don't fall for the extortion of somebody getting their feelings hurt because you tell them the truth. That's actually a real act of benevolence. Again, we'll get to more of that in a moment. You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.